What if everything you thought you knew about success was wrong? What if the secret wasn't chasing money, but chasing purpose? Today, you're about to meet Lucy Quiñones, a first-generation immigrant who built a Century 21 empire from nothing, lost it all in the 2008 crash, and refused to quit. She went from 125 agents down to just 19, faced death 3 times in a hospital room, and emerged with a mission that's transforming lives across the real estate industry. If you've ever felt stuck, unfulfilled, or wondered if there's more to life than what you're currently living, this conversation will light a fire in you. Stay with us, because Lucy's about to show you that your biggest challenges are actually your greatest opportunities. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited because we are here today with Lucy Q, and this woman is beyond impressive. She has ran a Century 21 company. She sold it. Now she runs multiple companies. She does a lot for women in real estate. And she is, one of the things that I really like about her is her no excuses attitude. And her mission on earth is to make an impact. So welcome, Lucy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Desi. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to be here with you guys on this podcast. And I'm so happy that we are building something together because, I saw you guys on stage last year and I was very impressed. So thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get your start in the real estate industry?
Let me start by saying that I think if you look somewhere for the definition of the American dream, my name should be there because I was not born in the United States. I was actually born in Medellín, Colombia. And I came to the United States as a first-generation immigrant with my parents many, many years ago. And but here I am. Not only, bought my own home at 21 with my husband, which is the American dream of every immigrant, right? But now today I enjoy the freedom that this wonderful country provides us of, growing yourself and your business and your life and building legacy and generational wealth and just being able to do all the things that we can dream of and that we're willing to work hard for.
I love that so much. And I feel like a lot of people who are born here just take it for granted, how much opportunity there is here and how there really is no ceiling. Like there's no cap to what you can accomplish if you put your mind to it and you're willing to work hard.
Yes, I can definitely attest to that. I'm a proud Colombian, but I'm also a proud citizen of the United States. And when I say that, I'm like, wow, that's so wonderful because only a country like ours can offer that.
I love that. You and your husband at 21 years old bought your first home.
Yeah. So I come from a very poor family in Colombia. But you know what? I can look back and I can identify that there was always that spirit of entrepreneurship, right? Of getting ahead. So, I kind of have that in my DNA and that's what I've always done. So I just, we got married very young. We met each other in junior high and he also comes from a very difficult upbringing, right? A mother who ended up a widow with 6 children. She was a widow not once, but twice. It's like, man, if everything could go wrong, it went wrong for her. But he also always knew he wanted to only work for himself and do something for himself. So, he's a general contractor and, he always says, oh, I build the homes and Lucy sells them. But yeah, I've been in real estate a long time. And the vehicle of real estate literally changed my life. Today, I sleep, walk, think, breathe real estate, but not just in the sales, in other areas of real estate. And I love it. It's my passion. People say, you work so hard. I said, I don't work. I do what I love. That's not work.
Yeah, they say if you love what you do, it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
What are some of the other, because you had mentioned that you have a couple of other businesses. And when we got talking just before while we were waiting to jump on, you mentioned you have a podcast as well. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes. So I'll give you the cliff notes of my career in real estate. So I came from the medical industry into real estate, knew nothing. I was, the brand new real estate agent that was broke, busted, disgusted, had no clue how to sell. But I knew I wanted to accomplish something big. And so I got into real estate. I was lucky enough to, find a broker who took me under his wing. He was my very first broker. Fast forward, that was in the year 2000 here on the West Coast of Florida. And so fast forward in 2002, I asked them for help to start. I said, what if I could start the first Latin American team in our area? Because I knew there was no other Latin American team in our area. So I went to him and I said, hey, can you tell me about a team? How do you do that? He goes, what do you know about a team? I said, nothing. That's why I need your help. And so, fast forward, he gave me some really rough challenges. He says, you've got to go recruit. I'm like, what is that? I had no idea what recruiting was, but I did it. He told me, go do this. Everything he told me to do, I would do. Fast forward after building the first Latin American team in the year 2000 and 2004, we were closing $11 million. I had recruited 7 agents. We were the only Latin American team in Southwest Florida. I called it the Lucy Quiñones and Company team. And then I came up with this brilliant idea. What if I could have my own Century 21 company, right? And so went back to him. I said, I want to open up my own company. And he said, no, I'm not opening up a company. So it was a tough, couple of months because I had a lot of people offering to open up a company with me because they saw my success. But I've always been a loyal person. And I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Luckily, he, I guess he understood. He knew, right? He was a wise man. He knew if I don't do this, she's going to go because she wants to grow. And so in 2005, we partnered up. We opened up, a Century 21 company. I was a broker manager. And I thought I had reached, the summit. That was it. I was on top of the world. And we all know what happened in 2008. And, that was really hard, but it was a blessing in disguise because I refused to quit. I would keep showing up. I went from 125 agents that I had in 2005 to 19 agents. 19 agents. And I was like, I think I'm going to die, but I don't know. So, that brought me to opening up a property management division. And so that property management division has become a company that I have still to this day. Okay. I ran my own Century 21 company until 2019 when I transitioned. And, he bought out my interest and I said, I've got to go do more. I want to do more. And so now today I have the very first real estate and business academy owned by a Latina in my area. And I started that in the year 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. Mm-hmm.
So sounds like you kind of have these moments where, if Lucy's doing something, something big's going to happen in the world. It's going to change our lives.
But, I wish it would not come wrapped up in a challenge because just when I was going to launch my very first licensing class, April of 2020, we get shut down. But, I was ready enough. I took it to Zoom. I started doing all my classes on Zoom. And so aside from the property management company and the academy, which is still up and running, and, I have my real estate organization. So I run those 3 lanes and I feel like an orchestra leader. But I love what I do.
I just want to recap what you've got: your real estate company, you've got your property management company, and then you've got your real estate education company, your school.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know how you do that. That's amazing.
Yes. And it never comes easy. I wish things would be easier, but they're not. I'm like, okay, but hey,
But it
That's the
probably
way it
is
is.
kind of easy because you love it, right? Like it's hard but easy.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
If that's
So
what's
cool.
easy, like if it was easy, then everyone would do it, right? So you wouldn't stand out. But
And I
That's
think
what about real
that's,
estate all the time. You would, if it
yes,
was be everyone would be a realtor.
yes, absolutely, yes.
one thing you mentioned earlier that I think is really important to hit on is your coachability. Like you've mentioned several times, like you didn't know how to do it. So you went and found someone who did know how to do it. You asked him how to do it. Then you copied their model, but made it better. And then like throughout your life, it sounds like you've reached out to the right resources and the right people who are doing what you want to be doing to kind of help get you to that next level. So I want you to hit on, how do you think being coachable has led to so much success?
I think that it doesn't matter what level of life or business we're in, there's always another level, right? And I believe that in order for us to really become that next level person, we have to go back to being an apprentice.
Right.
And we have to go back to, I remember my mentor would always say, and he had a funny way of teaching. He was from East Boston. He was a bull, but he was exactly what I needed. I needed someone that was iron, because I'm iron as well, but I needed someone that could sharpen me. So he would always say, Lucy, you have to be like a spaghetti. It was the craziest, analogy. He says, you got to be a spaghetti. If you take a piece of spaghetti and you try to bend it and it hasn't been boiled, what's going to happen? And I would say, well, it's going to break. He goes, yeah. So always remember, life is going to put you in boiling water so you can become nimble. Because if you take that piece of spaghetti and you bend it after it's gone through boiling water, what happens? I said, nothing. It doesn't break. So I give that example because sometimes we're just too hard for our own good. We think we know too much for our own good. We think we know it all, and we really don't. We know enough to be where we are. But that next level, we've got to go through that boiling water. And God knows I've been through boiling water many times. But that's what gets us to become that best version. And I always keep that in my mind. Like, I will be the best student because I really want it. So I have to realize that I've got to be humble and just become that apprentice again, because that's how I get to that next level.
I have never heard that analogy.
I know, me neither. I love that.
So great. I love it so much.
And so true, right? It's just such a fitting analogy to all aspects of life, business,
Yeah.
relationships.
And I think that's my secret sauce nowadays. If we're a person of faith, we know that all things will work together for the good of those that, love God and are called according to his purpose. Like, God has a purpose for us. So, and if we're not a person of faith, then we have to believe that, in our hardest challenges, our genius is going to be found, right? Because it's do or die. And so that is my superpower now, because I know what it is to go through hell. I know what it feels like to find yourself in boiling water. I know what it feels like to think, oh man, I got the best idea. This is it. This is going to work. And then it falls apart and you got to do it again. And just when you think that you found the way out, something happens, right? So just when you think that you found exactly what to do and how to do it and the people that are going to be with you, get ready for opposition. But I've also learned that that's where we perfect ourselves. We were designed by, a very smart creator that knows that the only way we're going to get good is by going through fire. The only way we make gold its best version is by putting it through fire. The only way that we become diamond from a charcoal is by being put through pressure. There's just no other way. That's called life. Tony Robbins taught it to me best in 2023 when I was coaching with him all year. He said, problems is just the symbol that we're alive. As long as we're alive, we're going to have problems, and problems are really an opportunity to show ourselves and show others what we're made up of, like what we can accomplish. So that's how I look at it.
I love that. So
Professional problem solvers, right, Desi?
Absolutely. Yeah. Me and Liz talk about this all the time because we're constantly solving problems. I'm only creating ourselves though.
Yes.
So what are you most passionate about right now? You've got all these different things that you're doing and growing. Like what gets you up in the morning? What excites you right now?
So you know what? I went on a journey when I sold my interest in 2020, 2019, because I literally left everything behind. Like I was willing to walk away from everything that I had built for 20 years because I knew there was more for me in my life and where I wanted to go. So I realized one thing. The person that I used to be then, I was not happy. I had the money, I had the titles, I had the company, everybody knew me. I looked like what success is supposed to look like, but I was not fulfilled. I was not fulfilled. So what makes me passionate now is that I have totally gone through hell, for 5 years, but I have found the true me. And I did that. And as I did it, I put together, this framework of, okay, how did I do that? Okay, the first thing that I had to do was rediscover myself. Who is really Lucy? Who is really this Lucy person? And then I had to redesign myself. Who do I really want to be? Like, what do I want my future self to look like? Who is that woman that I want to meet one day? And so the third thing that I had to do was, reinvent myself. Like, okay, I'm not going to get anywhere doing the things that I used to do. So what is the blueprint for my future? So I, reinvented myself, rediscovered myself, reinvented myself, I redesigned myself. And then the fourth thing that I did was I repositioned myself. Like, what do I want people to think of when they think of Lucy? What do I want people to feel when they hear my name or when they see me? So I repositioned myself, right? And that's why that word impact, like I am passionate about impacting the lives of others, like being that role model, being that solution, being that woman that people could look at and say, man, she has changed. And then finally, I relaunched myself. I've relaunched myself in every area of life. And the first one that I relaunched myself in was my physical health. I would dream of what I want to look like when I walk on a stage in front of 10,000 people. And so I started with my physical health because I'm like, I look like a sloppy chalapa, chalupa. I look like a burrito. I would tell myself, you look like a burrito. You look like an unhealthy chalupa. Like I would tell myself these things to really like identify what I did not want to look like. And so then I started working out. I started redesigning my physical health. I focused on my physical health. What most people don't know is that I almost died in 2021 because I ended up in the hospital. I faced death 3 times because I was, struck with that C word that I don't even want to mention. And when I got out of that hospital, after being in solitary confinement for 15 days, facing death, I'm like, now I'm ready to live. I'm ready to live with purpose. I'm ready to live for purpose. I'm ready to live on purpose. I don't even care about the money. And so that's where everything began. That's where everything began to change.
Wow. So now you're creating massive impact. And it's because you're clear on your mission.
Yes. Yes. I said, I'm going to live based on my purpose and not profits. Money's going to have to come find me because I'm not going to chase it anymore. I'm done. I'm done chasing money.
How has that impacted? I mean, I imagine when you wake up every morning and you're like, I'm going to live with purpose today. And it's got to feel so much better than chasing the money.
Yes. You know, it gives you a sense of clarity. You know, it gives you a sense of mission, because it doesn't matter how much money we have. You know, if we don't know our purpose and our mission, then we're always living unfulfilled. And I know what living unfulfilled feels like. And I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to, you know, just feeling that unfulfillment. So problems are not even, like I even tell myself, okay, we have another problem. What's the solution? Because the solution already exists. So now it's like you look at things differently, you know, and there's always someone going through something worse. So it doesn't matter when we focus on the things that are working and we focus on the things that we do have, problems lose their grit. They lose their power. And so this is what I teach people now. This is what I focus on teaching people now.
Is this in the academy then when people are interested in reaching out to you for coaching?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I have the only academy that is actually focused on agent development and business growth. And so really getting your license is not even the real purpose of the academy. The real purpose of the academy is, you know, designing a life and a business that will, you know, create legacy and generational wealth. And so real estate just happens to be the vehicle, right? Because I think real estate is a beautiful business. Real estate is the way I look at it, real estate is that equal opportunity vehicle. I mean, you could be from any social, economic walk of life. It doesn't matter what side of the railroad tracks you come from. It doesn't matter how big, how small. It's just such a beautiful vehicle. It's not easy. And that's the vehicle that really takes you to designing a life worth living.
You definitely have to work for it, but you can design it.
Yes.
It's so much there. It's just, didn't you, Desi? Like it was like the last 5, I want to know, I need to take a deeper dive into the last 5, 6 years of your life. It sounds like you've had an incredible transformation.
Yes.
I kept hearing.
And people see it, you know, people that have known me for 25 years, even through social media. And obviously they see what I do and they see that I started a project last year called Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp. And I said, okay, how are we going to, this is me talking to me, how are we going to make a mark this year? And how are we going to really grow? And how are we going to make an impact? And how are we going to become the solution? So I said, okay, what's the problem? The problem is productivity. Realtors, team leaders, brokers, we are in a, you know, productivity problem market, right? It's no longer real estate on Easy Street. So I said, okay, so I have the solution. I know how to make money in real estate. I've been there. I've done that. So I started Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp. And then I said, okay, Lucy, you are going to be the most consistent you have ever been in your whole entire existence. And we did the productivity bootcamp called Winners Wednesday for 45 weeks nonstop. Wow. And now this year, we're going for 50 weeks nonstop. Just because, yes, because I want to prove what everybody says. Like, I want to be the proof that consistency does trump talent.
I love everything you've been saying. Oh my gosh, hard work, consistency. I mean, your transformation over time has, like, from immigrating to here, I would love to be a fly on your shoulder and just seeing your whole life ahead of, like, in front of me. Like, I just have, you got to write a book. I would read it.
Yes. I think that's going to happen this year because people have told me for a long time, write a book, write a book, write a book. But for the first time in December, as I was designing my 2026, I actually put the framework together because I think it's time. I think it's time.
Well,
I
so
think it's time.
inspirational.
Yeah. And more than that, you know how many people are struggling to really get ahead? They just don't know how.
Yeah.
They just don't know how, or they just don't, they don't even know where to begin.
Well, it sounds like you take the problem and then work backwards to find the solution.
Yes.
I love
And
that.
Yes. So I know we're running out of time.
Yes,
So
I know. We could spend hours together.
Yes. What is one piece of advice that you would give to an agent who is struggling right now? Maybe they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They don't have a support system. What's one piece of advice that you would give them?
Don't stay isolated. Do not stay isolated, because that was one of the biggest things that I would tend to do. When I found myself struggling, when I found myself lost, I would clam up, I would isolate. And now I realize that's one of the biggest self-sabotaging things we can do. We need to surround ourselves with somebody that can help us get to that next level, with somebody that's willing. Don't isolate.
That's great advice.
So much. Thank you so much, Lucy, for being on our podcast. We're so grateful. I learned a lot, and I just want to connect with you more because your story is so inspiring.
Let's do it. I'm here for you guys. Thank you for the invitation. I admire you guys from afar. I hope we can do things that, just impact more people together. And I'm always open. Thanks for everything.
Yes, that sounds amazing. Have a beautiful day.
You too, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Lucy. So Lucy is, wow, like we were just saying, she is an absolute powerhouse. What inspiration when you think about mindset. All I could hear about was when we were talking was she solves problems, she looks for solutions with positive attitude, and she's constantly reinventing herself. And she's not afraid to do it, because I know that that is something that people do struggle with, even myself. It's like you think you want to do something different, but you're almost afraid, right? You stay put in, we take what's easy. And my biggest take from her is she was willing to do what was hard, work through the hard moments. And I also loved her analogy about spaghetti. Like, while she was saying it, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was just like, wow, I've never heard that before. And seriously, that's so funny and cool.
Yeah.
It's just like, she's so neat. I can't wait to keep connecting with her. Like, if anybody's looking out for trying to figure out how to reach out to Lucy, we'll leave her contacts in the comments. Reach out to us. We will connect you. Thank you for listening.